As we wrap up 2022 here at Libertas Institute, we wanted to pause and share with you our top 22 victories from the year. Let's get started. The first one, Libertas has gotten a number of first-in-the-nation laws passed in Utah. And House Bill 146 this year was another one of its kind. This was a food truck freedom law, the first in the country that streamlined the law for truck owners who can now just get a single business license and legally operate anywhere in the state. This law eliminates a ton of bureaucracy so that these micro entrepreneurs don't have to get so many permission slips and instead can get to work serving our communities the delicious food that we all love. Number 2, after 2 years of hard work, we finally published our new American History Tuttle Twins book. This is a 240-page book, the only one of its kind that teaches kids not just what happened in history, but why it happened and how it matters to our world today. We often say that those who don't learn from the past are condemned to repeat it, but other books are just teaching kids about the past. It's not helping them understand and learn from it. Our book changes that, and we put it out earlier this year. Number 3 is House Bill 167, sponsored by Representative Brady Brammer. This is a bill that we worked on to create a task force to look into potentially legalizing psychedelic substances like psilocybin and MDMA. To help people with mental illness that these drugs can really help, this was an important first step to determine how the state might move forward and legalize these medicines to make them more available to people in need. Number 4, did you know that Libertas Institute now works outside of Utah? This year we developed over 100 partnerships with groups and legislators in other states to help them replicate some of the policy reforms that we've gotten passed here in our home state of Utah. Over 40 bills were introduced around the country based on our work, and many of them passed, which extends Libertas' reach and influence across the country, and this is just the beginning. Number 5, sandboxes. Utah has become a leader in the regulatory sandbox movement to help shield entrepreneurs from outdated or problematic regulations and laws. This year we worked with Representative Malloy, who sponsored the Universal Sandbox last year, to create House Bill 243, which streamlines some different sandboxes that we had created over the years in Utah into one single program, helping us more easily replicate this sandbox model in other states in the future. Number 6 is for all the senior citizens out there. Senate Bill 25 allows homeowners over the age of 75 who have an income of $65,000 a year or less to stop paying property taxes so that they can stay in their home. And then any taxes they owe can be taken from the proceeds when the home is sold or their estate is settled once they pass away. This program, which is already up and running in some counties, will allow any seniors who are struggling financially to gain much needed relief and will make sure that this population doesn't have to worry about becoming homeless. Number 7, another year, another cohort of college-age young adults trained on how to be effective community advocates to make a difference in the world. This year, our annual Libertas Leadership Academy trained a bunch of young people who are now pursuing political and civic projects to make an impact in their community. Number 8, our wildly popular and now award-winning Children's Entrepreneur Market Program had its most successful year ever, with 28 markets serving nearly 4,000 kids across Utah. Now we're taking these markets on the road, expanding to 5 new states per year, with the goal of soon having our markets operating in every single state. Number 9, 2 years ago, we worked with the legislature to create a scholarship program for special needs students so families could pursue alternative education options outside of the local public school if it wasn't helping their child. This year, we worked with Senator Lincoln Fillmore on Senate Bill 62, which expands the eligibility of this program to include the siblings of special needs students so that families can afford to enroll all their children elsewhere instead of splitting them up. Number 10, we're heading to college. Or at least someone on our team is. We've created a new student outreach team to represent Libertas on college campuses, build relationships, share our work with young professionals, and identify the freedom movement's future fighters so that we can train and support them and get them ready to help us for years to come. Number 11, House Bill 171 ends the practice of juvenile deception by law enforcement in Utah. Now, if a police officer lies to a minor during an interrogation, any statement by that child is presumed to be involuntary, meaning it can't be used against them in court. This bill is going to help make sure that minors don't falsely confess to a crime that they didn't commit. Number 12 are two bills, House Bill 386 and Senate Bill 191, that essentially create an education-based sandbox, which allows teachers and schools to create and implement innovative educational programs that may not fit the rigid structure and standards that currently exist. The hope here is that we'll see more experimentation and individualized approaches in public schools as a result of these new sandbox programs. Number 13 is our 13th children's book in the Tuttle Twins series. Inspired by Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, massively popular book, our 13th book in the series is called The Tuttle Twins and the 12 Rules Boot Camp. Helps kids learn about the power of personal responsibility, hard work, and clear thinking, something that young people could use a whole lot more of today. Number 14 is we hired 14 new full-time staff at Libertas. We've been growing by leaps and bounds with an office, multiple warehouses, remote people scattered across the country, all to extend our reach and better network with supporters in other states. Number 15, countless individuals work in an industry where they have to get a government permission slip called an occupational license in order to legally work. And over the years, Libertas has helped pass a number of laws that have reformed this process in order to free up the market. This year, we worked on Senate Bill 16, sponsored by Senator Kurt Bramble, to create an ongoing review process to look at every license the government has and determine whether we can lower the government's burden. As the process moves forward, we can make data-driven decisions about each license individually to determine if they're risky, and if they are, maybe that will require more oversight. But if they're not, we can reduce the heavy government restrictions and free up the market even more. Number 16, after past failures pursuing a broader bill, this year House Bill 124 passed, which put some additional restrictions on how police officers can implement no-knock warrants. Utah has been a national leader in past years as a result of our work on these high-risk police tactics. And this year's bill adds some additional clarity to the law to help protect the rights of people to be secure in their persons and houses. Number 17, after a long time planning and writing, this year we released our second parody video, this one called Parks and Heck, which shows a clash between local government and libertarians when illegal taxes are being charged to residents. This isn't just fictional satire, this is a real issue that Libertas has actually been involved in, with a lawsuit pending before the Utah Supreme Court to stop cities from putting illegal taxes on people's utility bills. More to come on that as soon as the court's ruling comes out. Number 18, fair-skinned Utahns rejoice. This year, Senator Dan McKay was able to finally get some traction on increasing the amount of tint that you can use on your window vehicles. After failing in past years, we turned to Senator McKay for help, and Senate Bill 149 was the result. All of our surrounding states allowed for darker window tint, and now the law allows Utahns to have additional tint on your front vehicle windows to block UV rays and increase privacy in your vehicle. Number 19, remember the kids markets that I mentioned earlier? We're going beyond just holding markets and educating kids, we're actually investing in them too. This year we started giving out grants to hardworking young entrepreneurs to provide them even more support to create a better world. Number 20, speaking of giving out money, we gave out over $100,000 in grants this year to partner organizations working alongside us to implement our policy ideas in their state. This has positioned Libertas not just as an innovative policy organization, but also one that's able to put money where our mouth is and support our partners in their work as well. Number 21, 2 years ago, we partnered with Harmon Brothers and Angel Studios to turn our Tuttle Twins books into a cartoon. And this year, the first season was fully published. This high-quality cartoon is a huge hit with families and is full of humor and important lessons. Best of all, it's free to watch. Just download the Angel Studios app. Last but not least, number 22. Did you know that the government can track not just where you're at right now, but where you've been in the past few years as well? These geofence warrants, as they're called, are a huge problem, and Libertas is leading the way across the country in restricting them from government abuse. This year we published an important legal memo on this privacy issue, created a network of scholars to support our privacy work, and developed model legislation that will be the first of its kind in the country to clamp down on this new type of historical surveillance. And that's a wrap. The top 22 items of 2022. We had a longer list. We had to cut it off somewhere, but we wanted to share with you, our donors, our supporters, our friends, some of the big wins from this year as we look forward to 2023, setting some pretty big goals of what we're trying to do. The team is growing, the goals are growing. We're really trying to be ambitious with what we got going on. We'd love you to support that journey. If you're not yet a donor of Libertas Institute, I invite you to contribute before the end of the year. If you're watching this later, now is the perfect time to donate. We need as many supporters as we can get to do this important work. Head to libertas.org or click the link in the description. We'd love your support and hope you have a happy 2023.